Welcome to the Energy Medicine and Healing Summit, where you'll discover how to take your health into your own hands from today's top energy medicine experts and healers. And now your host, Dondi Dahlin.
Hello, friends. Prune Harris is with us today. Prune Harris is the founder of Imaginal Health and the Consciousness Energetics programs. Able to see energy since birth, she is a healer, shaman, spirit walker, Eden energy medicine practitioner, educator, and author. Welcome, Prune.
Hi, Dondi. It's lovely to be here with you all today.
Thank you. Well, we are just thrilled to get started with you. I know our listeners are excited. So let's talk about the womb. The term womb can include an entire area or the actual organ of the uterus. And I know you speak in energy, so can you help us understand the energy anatomy of the womb?
Yeah, absolutely. Because often, even let's have a look at the word womb, because so often when it's talked about as a uterus, and somehow that can seem distinct from us. A uterus is something that almost happens independent of our being. Well, womb energy is deep, it's sacred, it's got a cosmic aspect to it. So if we talk about being nurtured in our mother's womb, is a very different feel than if we're talking about being inside a uterus. So even the concept of the word holds a lot of access to its sacredness. And that womb that we have, if we are a woman, if we're female, we've got a womb from the second that we're born, in fact, for several months before that. And even in the process, sometimes people have experienced hysterectomies. For whatever reason, the womb has needed to be removed from the body. But even in that experience, the energy of the womb is still there. It's housed in the second and first chakras. So actually, it's very, very much about our productivity, our creativity, our trust in life, our ability to connect to ourselves and other people. And it's also housed in that amazing physical powerhouse of the lower dantian. So when our womb energy is vital, then actually we have the potential to be vital. It houses a lot of our radiant circuits, so that deep template of health that courses through our energetic core and courses through our whole physicality is deeply wrapped up in the energy of the womb. So energetically, it has links to so much of our whole body system. And it's a part that often we overlook. And that's why I'm excited to be here today talking to you about it.
Well, thank you. You have mentioned the lower dantian, the first and second chakras, the radiant circuits. That is a powerhouse area. Tell us a little bit about how information is stored in those areas, how that information works with the womb, and most importantly, how can we access it and work with it?
Yeah, because it's such a vital part of our life force. So if someone has a really vital womb energy, then when I look at their energy, it looks like around that lower abdominal area, so just tucked in behind the pelvis, there's a deep, earthy red, beautiful, vibrant power. And as that energy emanates out from its house there, from the actual organ of the womb, it begins to take on a finer and finer energy. So by the time it's out into the aura, and especially the outer layers of the aura, it's a golden silver. And that's where, for me, it really picks up this celestial energy. So we could understand perhaps that womb connects us in its most earthy, very, very blood rich. As an organ, the womb is an immense blood rich organ. So it connects us into our earthy nature and it helps us expand into that divine celestial energy as well. So it's one of those places that continually weaves back and forth for us. Now, as far as the information that's stored in the womb, we unfortunately live mostly in cultures that don't necessarily respect that immense intuitive wisdom that women have easy access to. And I don't for any minute mean that men aren't also incredibly wise and incredibly intuitive. They are. And at the same time, there's a different form of intuitive wisdom that women house, and it's because of our connection into the womb. So when we live in societies that perhaps aren't equal in their fullness, then often an energy that's housed in the womb is an energy of non-balance, imbalance, disease. And that shows up in the way that many of us, many people listening now, will have experienced times when there was an energy that was taken into the womb that wasn't for their full benefit, that wasn't for their full rich potential. So by that, what I mean is any emotional conflict or abuse because of being a woman, any physical experiences or sexual experiences that wasn't nurturing to the whole body system. So we end up taking in experiences into that amazing place of the womb, and the womb will house it for us. It will protect us by simply embracing some of that. We could talk about it perhaps as the shadow of the womb. So the places in our culture that doesn't work very well, the places in our life, in our family perhaps, that don't work for the equality of men and women, that energy can sit very deeply in the womb. Now, for those of us who are working with menstrual cycles, we have an immense gift, because every month that womb renews itself. So it really helps with the shedding of the blood, the shedding of the lining of the womb. It's possible that we get to start afresh with that deep, powerful energy every month. And that's an immense gift. The womb really houses that power of life. Of course, it's where we grow our babies and where we birth our babies from. So it houses life and birth, but it also houses the other end of that cycle, the death cycle, the cycle of destruction. And that happens on a monthly basis for those many decades in our life where we're engaged in a menstrual cycle. After that time, I want to talk a little bit about postmenopausal women, because that's an incredible time. That honestly is the time when I see the womb in its fullness. Even when women are really kind of ready for babies, really fertile, the womb still has a youthfulness to it. Well, once women are into that menopausal or postmenopausal area, there's a deep velvety richness to that womb energy, which, I mean, think of someone that you know who is maybe in their 60s, 70s, and just holds a grounded wisdom that is a joy to be around. That person will have a womb energy that really has understood so many cycles of life and death that actually it's there in its glorious magnificence.
Well, this is beautiful. I was so happy to hear about the postmenopausal, because so many women who are listening are ready to enter that time. So let's talk a little bit more about what you mentioned briefly, intuition. Also, many people who are here with us today want to tap deeper into their intuition, and they're hoping for ways to really sink into that inner knowing and to trust it. Would you say that the connection to the womb is a key?
Oh, I so would. I so would. And Dondi, I've worked with many groups of women working with the wisdom womb, and that's definitely one of the things that they report. Just an expansiveness into the whole connection of life, because they're connecting into that deep, deep, deep part of themselves that is the life force in our femininity, in our womanhood. And when we can connect into that, we really begin to move and weave with that deeper intuition that's both gifted from the earth and the energy all around us, gifted from other men and women that we're in relationship with, and gifted from the heavens. That womb becomes an immense meeting point there. And maybe this is a good time. I'd really love to just guide us through about 3 or 4 minutes of connecting into the womb in a way that actually, I talked a little bit about the way the womb can house various aspects that need healing on a personal or on a collective nature. And there's a little exercise I'd love us to do that can actually help us just heal and brighten and expand that intuitive base. So is this a good time to do that, Dondi?
Yes, beautiful. Take us through that.
All right. So what I would really love you to do is be comfortable, be totally comfortable. Allow your body to simply flop. No structure, no holding it up. We can totally trust that our skeleton has got us and we're going to be relaxed. So take a lovely breath in and allow that breath just to encourage even more relaxation in the body. And if you've got your feet on the floor, then excellent. If however you're sitting cross-legged or lying on a bed, then excellent too. So we're going to place both hands over that womb area. So you're really down in the lower abdominal area. It might even be, your hands might expand to the top of the pubic bone, but just be comfy. But begin to even connect with the fact that right there, right underneath your hands, is this immense source of wisdom, of vitality, of physical power. And just allow your breath to reach that area, relaxing those abdominal muscles, relaxing the pelvis, maybe even expanding that area as you breathe into it. And allow your awareness just to really begin to connect into that womb area. You can explore if your womb has a particular color, a shape that you can easily identify, a texture. So finding your way deeper and deeper into connection with this amazing organ or amazing area that still holds the energy of the womb. Breathing your connection into the very center of that beautiful womb of yours. Now I'd like you to imagine or to visualize that at the very center of your womb, there's a tiny spark, a tiny silver or golden spark. And that is the spark of life, the spark of your creativity, the spark of your wisdom. Breathe fresh energy, fresh awareness into that little tiny spark. And as you breathe out, invite that spark to grow a little bit more. Breathing fresh energy and consciousness into that spark and allowing it to expand as you breathe out. And as you breathe out, you're going to invite that beautiful spark of your life, that life force that resides deep in the womb, to continue to expand filling the womb, filling that entire pelvic area, moving beyond your skin and into your aura. And as it continues to expand, you're going to allow it to move all the way through your aura to its outer edges, enhancing your connection with yourself, with your intuition, with your beautiful power, and with your whole being. Okay. And know that you can go back and do that exercise again and again, and you can spend 20 minutes, 40 minutes doing it. And as you do it more and more, what begins to happen is that beautiful wisdom, that deep intuition that begins to expand further and further through your system is easier for you to connect to. It's like you've kind of said, hey womb, interesting to meet you, nice to get this intuition. I want to be in a good relationship with you. So it begins to be very, very accessible to you.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. I like that you remind our listeners that they can go back anytime and do this. So you mentioned, Prune, that a woman does not have to have a womb to be in touch with this innate wisdom of her womb, because the energy is still there. So if women are listening who have had a hysterectomy, you are right here with us, and you are not excluded. And if you want to touch on that, Prune, you can. And maybe also talk about our men a little bit. What do men need to know about healing the womb? And what do they need to know about helping women to kind of create this paradigm of healing?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to pick up on that first point, that you do not need to still have a womb in order to really access the womb wisdom. The container of that energetic womb is just as strong, whether the physical container is there or not. And actually, often people who, for whatever reason, have chosen to have their womb removed, they're deeply connected to that area. It's like the operation or the series of health challenges that led to the need for the operation has very often invited a connection into that area anyway. So sometimes women who have worked with hysterectomies are much more in tune with that area because they've gone through the journey of connecting into it. But absolutely, we do not have to have a womb to deeply connect into the wisdom womb. The wisdom womb being inherent in the organ, but also inherent even when the organ is no longer there. As for men, men house a very deep energy in that area as well. It's not as contained as the womb area for women. So it tends to resonate much more. It's almost like a beautiful energy that circulates through the first and second chakra. And it too allows men to connect into that power of creativity. The womb is immense for releasing our creativity. And that tends to be housed a bit more by the chakra system for men. In women, of course, it connects in with the chakra system, but even more so because the organ of the womb or the energy of the womb is there. So, I mean, there is a difference in men and women's energy, and this would be a pretty fundamental one. Often, the wisdom of men will be a channel between the head and the heart. And with women, it will be between the heart and the womb. So just as much wisdom, but access slightly different through the energetic structures of the body. Now, for your question as far as men working to help women connect into and heal their womb energy, the very, very first place is to be a conscious man. And we are so lucky within our community because there are a huge amount of very conscious men who understand that they hold an essential role in balancing the divine feminine and the divine masculine. You know, we can really talk about how the divine feminine energy in our culture, in our land, in our relationship to the earth needs to be balanced. And I couldn't agree more. But the only way we're going to balance it is through male and female equal participation in that healing. So if a man is wanting to help a woman balance into her womb energies, creativity and health, then his exploration around his own place in that balancing is going to be the greatest gift. And as long as a woman is comfortable, let's say people are coming from an energy medicine perspective, they're practitioners themselves, then to invite the woman to have her hands on the womb area and then maybe holding neurovascular points or working with Reiki or acupuncture, whatever way that man is bringing his beautiful healing skills into that session, then all of them can be beautiful, beautiful ways for the woman to connect into the healing of her womb.
Thank you. Beautiful. I really loved the spark of life, and thank you for sharing that with all of us, something we can take away. Are there some other easy techniques that we can do that you can teach us right here today? Maybe some exercises to connect in with the womb.
Yeah, absolutely. One of them is, well, it's just so very, very simple, and it involves having your hand over your heart area, and wherever that means for you. Some people will go to the left of the chest, some the sternum, wherever it feels to you that is the center of your heart energy. And then to take your other hand and place that on the womb. There's a very deep connection between the heart and the womb, and it especially involves our ability to access our joy. So joy really runs through this amazing energetic channel between the heart and womb. And it's so simple, and actually many, many, many of us do it anyway, because it's a beautiful way to connect that lower dantian and the middle dantian, the second chakra and the heart chakra. So we do it, so many people, when they go to bed, or you'll see children sitting on a sofa and just having one hand on the heart and one on the lower abdominal area. But if we can do that and begin to visualize this golden channel of energy going from deep into the womb, going all the way up into the heart, and recognizing that the flow of energy between the heart and the womb is continual and it flows both ways. The womb informs the heart and the heart informs the womb. So one of the ways I love to just bring that even more fully to mind is with the hand on the heart and the hand on the womb. I visualize that golden channel running right in the center of my body, really deep between the womb and the heart. And I visualize golden figure eights, just any direction, just moving through that golden stream of consciousness, of intuition, of power and wisdom. And that one, you can get totally encapsulated by that one, and you can stay there for 5 seconds or 45 minutes.
Well, you did captivate me as soon as you said golden figure eights, and I would love for you to just talk to the listeners about the importance of figure eights, because that could sound so simple to someone. Figure eights, well, that's just a pretty design, but it's more than that. Can you touch on it?
Absolutely. So that figure eight is really, we see it in our most ancient rock art or hieroglyphs of the figure eight being known as the infinity sign, the infinity symbol. And it's an energy form. It's energy symbol that happens through our entire body. So right down at the DNA level, we've got those beautiful figure eights in the double helix, right out through the far reaches of our aura. If I'm in my garden and I'm loving being by a tree, then energetically what's happening is we're being woven with big figure eights between us. It's an amazing matrix of energy that we live within, and it's an essential pattern in our body. So any time we work with figure eights, whether we swing our arms in a big figure eight or we smooth or trace a figure eight over an area of soreness in the body, then we're helping the immense connective fabric of our energy connect in a healing and balanced, grounded way. So when we work with those figure eights through the golden stream, through the womb and heart connection, then actually we're simply enhancing the wisdom and the connection between those two organs and two centers of consciousness. But from that place, they start spreading out into the trunk, into every one of our 50 million cells, and really start getting some great information through the whole body system that we are healthy, we are well, we are powerful. That's the kind of message that the figure eight can carry through the system. And I mean, for people who aren't familiar with working with figure eights, my advice is start doing it. Trace them on an area that's sore. Trace them all around you. And most people very quickly start feeling a big physical difference as well as an energetic or emotional difference.
Well, this time with you has gone so fast. You have covered a lot for us, figure eights and chakras and radiant circuits, and especially the womb, this deep, sacred, creative, productive area that we have as women, whether we have a uterus or not, and that men can also be connected to and help us create a new paradigm for healing. We take experiences into the womb, and the womb is also a sort of protector for us. It can help us with intuition, our connection to the womb, and that intuition runs deep. You also taught us this beautiful spark of life, this almost like a mini meditation that we can go back to any time to heal and brighten and nurture our womb, and that deep connection between the heart and the womb. And I love, Prune, what you said, that the womb informs the heart and the heart informs the womb. So I know people are going to want to listen to this session again and again and also stay connected to you. So how can they do that?
Well, I would love people to stay connected through my website. So that is imaginalhealth.com. And that's where I post classes on the womb and also share more information. I regularly share videos just to help people continue to weave their understandings together.
Thank you. We so appreciate this wisdom you have shared. And after you have talked and shared all of this, I'm going to ask you one more question here at the very end. And that is, if there is just one last piece of wisdom that you would like to leave the listeners with today, what would that be?
Dondi, it would be that we always have choice. So often it feels like we respond to things because we feel the limitation. And actually, the more we connect into the heart and the womb, or the head and the heart for men, the more we understand that our energy body, our physical body, is a huge field of consciousness. And actually, consciousness brings choice in every situation.
Beautiful. Thank you for this session today, Prune, and thank you to all of our listeners for being with us.
Thanks so much, Dondi. It was my pleasure.
Thank you for joining us for the Energy Medicine and Healing Summit, brought to you by the Shift Network. You can add every teaching and transcript to your personal library by visiting energymedicinesummit.com/upgrade. To learn more about awakening to your full potential, and together co-creating a world that works for all, visit theshiftnetwork.com. Thank you again for joining us, and for sharing this life-changing information with your friends and family.